Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a new episode of the Fintech Hunting Podcast. We have an absolutely amazing guest for you today. She's an industry thought leader, a technology evangelist. She's one of the most watched Fintech Hunting episodes ever. I am so excited to welcome back to the show, Bridget Trevino, SVP Sales. Bridget, welcome back.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
Oh, well, it is great to have you back. Like I said, you're one of the most watched episodes, and I think it's because you shared in a very genuine and authentic way new technology that is helping lenders. We talked about components instead of just having to buy one massive system. And then one of the other things you ended with, and I want to start there first before we go into some new items, is you talked about the fact that you guys were giving away document classification and data extraction. Tell me how that's going, how people are receiving that in the industry, because that is a big deal. I'm sure your competitors don't love it, and I'm sure lenders love the opportunity to get familiar with your software through that free offering.
Yeah, it is going very well, Michael. Like I said, the founders believe that the data and the document classification, that is just part of what you need to have done in order to really get the tools. What you do with that is the real value and what we can provide. Now, because we've been doing the data and document process in Europe for many years, for over 10 years, it looks a little different the way that we're doing it, bringing it to the US and making it commodity. And it's part of the free service that we give. You get that along with the rest of the components, and people are loving it, and having the access to their own data is pivotal, right? And so it's the borrower's data, it's kept safe, it's kept secure, and they have access to it as well.
Well, and I think data is so critical, but people don't want to be held hostage for their own data. What they want to do is use tools like the ones you guys provide to bring meaning, to bring action so that they can do something with the data, but don't charge me for all of the data that I already have. So I love that you guys are doing that. We're in a challenging market. We already know that, but it's also a market where I think lenders that are leaning in, that have pivoted correctly, are going to be the ones that gain market share when the market turns.
Sure.
There's a lot of new technology out there that's emerging in this market. How does a lender go about kind of vetting and finding out what's the right technology for them?
You know, I actually spent a lot of time thinking about this. I've been on both sides of the coin and seeing multiple cyclical environments, as our mortgage industry is. I think first I would take the time to review your current manufacturing process from end to end and look at inefficiencies and redundancies and what's working, what isn't. Do you need a full reset or a full end-to-end product, or can you just add functionality in your current process with the microservices? Then do you have the time and resources to build your own tech stack with these microservices, or do you even have the budget to adopt a new end-to-end product? There's a lot that goes into it. Is the new tech scalable? With the cyclical nature of our business, we're thinking of our current needs right now, or are we considering the needs of the future? Right now, the bright, shiny object is reducing those buybacks and making sure our underwriting is accurate and compliant. But soon it'll be all of that, plus a capacity issue, hopefully. Yep. And how do you solve for both of them? And then you have to consider, how do you test the tech? So how much time, money, and resources does it do to do a proof of concept? We may have the time now, and hopefully you have the time, but after 3 months of integration, and if it's not proving to be viable, what do you do then? So with your current staff, are they even able to adopt the new tech? Does it work within their processes and expertise? And paying for a tech without user adoption, we all know, is a waste. Can the tech give the user control to control or decide what their current staff expertise, volume, and budget is needed on the loan level basis? And I think that all goes into all the different technologies, and each one may come from a different angle or provide one of those solutions, but hopefully we can find something that hits all of those points.
Well, and you bring up so many good points there, and I want to kind of dive into some of those. As we look at it, I think the days of just totally ripping out one solution and starting from scratch, especially in today's market, because even though people say you should have more time, they have less money and they have less resources.
Right.
So as a vendor, I always have found it that balancing act of when the market is great and lenders have all kinds of money, they don't have any time.
Mm-hmm.
When they have time, they typically don't have the funds to implement this end-to-end solution, and they don't have the resources. So I love how you're talking about analyze it first, and then the fact that you can use components, because one of the other big obstacles to user adoption is the fact that when people feel like, hey, my job's gone, why
Yeah.
should I get all excited? Why should I do all of these steps? And you're going to put in this underwriting tool and it's going to totally eliminate my job. Or you're going to bring in this point of sale or this LOS. And I think your approach with the way you can stack different components really comes side to side with that underwriter, with that person who's the expert, and says, we're not trying to take your job. We're trying to make your life easier. We're trying to help you use these components. I mean, I talk a lot about AI tools and chat and all of that. Chat's not going to take away a lot of jobs. What I think it's going to do is it's going to empower knowledgeable people, subject matter experts, to get things done quicker, faster, and more efficiently. And that's how I see kind of the component system that you guys use, is that same type of approach. How can I empower a loan or an underwriter that says years of expertise, and instead of doing those same manual redundant tasks that they do, they can use a tool like yours for certain areas, and then they can use their knowledge to complete it. So I love your approach, and I'm glad people are taking you guys up on the free document classification and extraction. As an emerging tech, how do you guys kind of roll out new innovation? How are you testing new innovation to say, do we deliver it to the market now? Is the market ready? Walk through that approach, because I think because you guys have a 10-year track record in Europe, but you're relatively new in the US, you really come from a unique perspective of you're not starting from scratch. You've got a proven solution, but you've got to figure out what components to bring to the US market.
Yep. So our beta testing is going great. I like to call it bug hunting, though. It's quite satisfying. Nobody really likes to talk about it. Let's just be frank. As an emerging technology, that's what we have to do. It has to be done. And our beta testers have been fantastic. They help shape our product by giving us the client's voice and perspective. And that's how we came up with this Flex Stack component system. It's available if you need it. You don't need it. You don't need to choose to use that component on a loan level basis. So that's really where it came from, is these amazing beta testers that we're working with. They're up and running in days, so there's no resources or budget needed for testing. We're seeing a really high user adoption because the underwriter's in full control. They enable the loan level cost control and the scalability with the Flex Stack component system. But really what they're seeing is full advantage of the thousands of tiny decisions that need to be made during a data review and assessment process that ultimately leads to the big decision, and it's done for them. And the icing on the cake is data review is free with Rapidio. Then we lay out a complete picture. So today, let's talk about income. So not just self-employed or wage earner, especially since COVID, multiple income streams through gig work and the like, award letters, etc. It's all included in our assessment. Again, we're the tool, they're the solution. We make them more accurate and efficient. And actually, I'm hoping 2 or 3 more partners to be added to the list of beta testers to ensure we're testing the widest variety of the loans, right? So we've seen a lot of really cool things that maybe we didn't see in the market 5 years ago. But if you're out there and you're hearing this message, I hope that we can connect, because I want to talk to people that are looking at innovating the manufacturing process using something similar to what we have.
Well, and let's dive into that, because I think it's fascinating. I think, when people hear the word beta testing, in past, it had kind of a negative connotation. Oh, I'm going to be the guinea pig, or I'm going to be the sucker. And that's not what we're talking about here. What we're talking about is, let's put a powerful tool in your hands. Let's let you figure out where it's going to best fit within your organization. And then, isn't it great as a lender to say, I want to have a voice in the future direction of where this tool is going, which for the most part, with a lot of the solutions on the market today, I don't get a say in those. I take it out of the box, and I either like the way it is. Option 2 is they charge me a ton to customize and configure it. Or 3, I got to figure out how to configure it on my own. So if I can try a tool, sample a tool, test a tool, and then give feedback to say, hey, Bridget, I love this aspect of it, but if it did these two other things, that's really what would make this a very powerful solution. I think that's really what you're talking about, right?
100%. Yep. That client perspective, your voice is what we want to hear. And that helps us build a product that is usable across multiple areas, right? So we were looking at IMBs, banks, credit unions, even brokers are using our income component. So it is, if anybody's interested in being an innovator and wants to partner with us, I'd love to hear from them.
Well, and I love that because it truly is a partnership. It's collaboration. It's we're going to give you this tool. You give us your feedback. How do we make this a win-win for everyone? You don't have to take months implementing and trying to onboard something and then worry about all of that cost. Because what happens when people do that, they kind of kick the can down the road because they don't want to lose their job if I'm the one who picked that solution.
Yeah.
So they kind of force a square peg into a round hole. And for years, they just continue to use it, even though it's not really the solution that's working for them.
Or they're using it, but they're redundantly doing the exact same job themselves because they don't trust the tool or the tool doesn't give them 100% of what they need. So you're paying for, an inefficiency, honestly.
Exactly. And it's making that inefficiency even worse because they're doing it twice and they're paying for the right to do it twice, which that's something we definitely want to avoid. Well, as we look to 2024 and kind of winding down this year, what are some of the things you see happening in the industry? Do you see more adoption? Do you see more people testing different components? What are some of the things you're most optimistic about?
I really think so. I think talking to a lot of potential clients and current clients, we're looking at our budgets. What do we expect 2024 to look like? How can we use the staff that we have today? How can we create that? We're going through a cycle, obviously, but can we keep that cycle of human, the people that are working with us, keep that level? And I'm hearing a lot about that. Like, let's do more with what we have, the people that we have on staff. So I see a lot of people doing that budget work, looking at different technologies, really doing the research on technologies over the next couple of months and starting those beta tests end of the year, beginning of next year.
And I think the other critical component of that is not only are people crunching their budgets and trying to save money now, but we know it's a cyclical market. We know it's eventually going to turn. And I think for the progressive lenders that are leaning in when they implement these technologies, they also want to be able to scale when the market turns.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what you're allowing them to do with your solutions is not only cost containment now, but how can I scale when the market gets better and I don't have to throw 20 more bodies at it, 50 more bodies at it, because then you're going to either improve profitability or you're going to decrease it. And if you can scale with the solution, clearly profitability will go up and you're going to have a much more stable lending environment.
Exactly. Stability is what I hope the future of 2024 and beyond is going to look like. Stability, accuracy, and efficiency.
Well, Bridget, I mean, you and I could keep talking about a lot of this cool tech and everything like that. We're in the throes of conference season. What are some of the ways? Where are you guys going to be at? Where can people meet with you? Because not only can they get a hold of you online, but where can they see all of these cool components and everything live in person?
Yeah, so I'm scheduled right now to be at the National MBA. That's in a couple of weeks. And for sure, I'll be at the IMB conference in January. So reach out. Let's connect. Let's meet up. I like to hear myself talk. I'd love to talk to you and hear what your perspective is, what the lenders are really interested in, and see if there's a way we can work together.
Outstanding. So if they want to schedule time and meet with you in Philly at the MBA annual, what's the best way that they can go about doing that?
I would say email. So bridget.trevino@rapidio.com.
Fantastic. Bridget, I can't wait to see you in Philly. It's only not even like 2 weeks away. And I'm excited about seeing some of the new components you have, some of the stories of what the beta testers are doing, some of the success that they're having. It is very exciting time to see new technology emerge and, more importantly, the impact it's having on lenders' business. So I can't thank you enough for being a guest on this episode of the Fintech Hunting Podcast.
Thanks, Michael.